this, we're joined by the National Police Commissioner, General Kehla Sithole, as well as Kevin Pillay, who is the chairperson of the Community Policing Forum Board. Good evening to both of you, gentlemen. Thank you very much for coming through. If I may just start with you, General, just by way of background, what gave birth to this idea?
Okay, thanks very much, Will. Firstly, the community policing concept is informed by the mission statement of the country, that of a community-centered governance approach. When it translates to community policing, it follows a community-centered policing approach. And referring it back to the National Crime Prevention Strategy, former President Mandela said, crime cannot be an issue for the police. It's a multidisciplinary concept. It requires community involvement. And if you also go back to the transformation of the police in terms of the 1995 white paper, which introduced democratic policing, it then requires a community-orientated policing, in which the police cannot fight crime alone because they service the communities. And finally, from the turnaround vision, which we have recently adopted in the police, we have followed what we call the stabilization of crime. Now we are in the normalization of crime. And in normalization of crime, you need massive community mobilization so that you start working together with the communities. Take young people out of reach, take our communities out of reach, get them involved, increase resilience.
Now, you've thrown your weight, obviously, behind this initiative, and police are going to do the policing. Where do you come in? What is it exactly, as community policing forums, are you bringing to the party?
Well, I think, as the National Commissioner alluded, the Community Policing Forums, it's a statutory structure, which is in Chapter 7 of the Police Act, and it enjoins us to serve as the conduit between the communities and the South African Police Service in bringing services to the people. It also enjoins us as the communities to stand up and partner with the police in reporting crime, not only reporting crime, but in fighting crime. In our concept, we have the sub-forums within the sector policing environment. We also have what we call the community patrollers. That is the point of entry where all these structures feed into at a station level, which is at a local level, which will also include all your stakeholders within the society at large, be it the faith-based organization, the CBOs, the CDWs, and all organizations within the community. That then becomes the community policing forums, which becomes then the mouthpiece or the representatives of the community in policing matters, in partnership, in fighting crime.
I actually want you to dwell on that, because I think it's something we take for granted, what it is exactly that community policing forums bring to the party. You've mentioned patrolling. You've mentioned galvanizing communities so that you then are able to speak directly to police about matters affecting communities. What else do you do as community policing forum?
Well, the community policing forum, it also talks to the issue of saying, after having done that, listening to the needs of the community in terms of the policing needs and how they want to be policed in a democratic setup. The community police forums also must go back and report back to the communities through MPs or through awareness campaigns. So the communities at large in those localities participate through activities, through awareness campaigns. So the partnership is not only a semantic one, it's a real one, where we participate at a local level, we contribute, and we ensure that the service delivery that our people need as far as policing is concerned happens. And it's the duty of all community members and the citizenry at large to participate, to stand up and lift up your hand and say, I'm going to be part of this. I want to make my voice heard, and I want to contribute to a safe and secure environment.
Now your document, General, says one of the objectives is to resource the community policing forums so that they are able to do what he has just told us is what they do. How do you resource them? In fact, do you resource them?
Okay, firstly, in terms of our resource management strategy, one of the key dimensions of policing that we make provision for resourcing is crime prevention. And the community policing is an integral part of crime prevention. Now, all the crime prevention initiatives, they're actually catered for from a resource point of view. But the other way again of resourcing the community policing forums is through the integration of resources. Community policing is not a police subject alone. If you get down to municipalities with the IDP, they've got public safety, and we also there deal with crime prevention initiatives, so we do integration of resources. There's also offices of the MECs who are also doing crime prevention, and they support that is community police forums. But in the strategy document, we now want a structured approach of resourcing them so that they have a resource management strategy, and then they can then be resourced in a more sustainable way so that they can be able to be almost self-sufficient and work together with us.
Do you feel resourced? Do you feel that he does his part in giving you what you need, but also the people he has mentioned, your MSCs, your local councils, do those people give you adequate support in you?
Look, for you, I would say that under the current leadership, under General KJ Sistole, when he took over as the National Commissioner of Police, the brainchild, which is the community policing strategy that we are launching tomorrow, was an initiative which he created for us as community representatives for almost 4.5 years ago, when he was the Deputy National Commissioner of Policing. Now, in any environment, in order to attract the correct resourcing and to get the right needs balanced against the resourcing, you need to have a strategy. So the strategy that we are launching tomorrow creates that blueprint, it creates the footprint that will take into account and ensure that the resourcing happens at an adequate level.
Last closing comments from you, General? What should we expect tomorrow?
Yeah, tomorrow expect a highly integrated process and approach between the police as well as the community, but also expect to see the whole community of South Africa in blue, in terms of the blue concept, because we have arranged to mobilize them countrywide. Expect to see community policing through the urbanized approach of policing, the rural approach of policing, which will include even the traditional leaders. And from there on, expect to see a confidence in policing uplifted. And then so that I think our communities, they are going to be closing the gap as from tomorrow, and then we'll all be seen as one against crime.
And you're confident that after tomorrow will mark the beginning of a renewed and a more intense fight against crime?
Yes, without a doubt. The script is written, the stage is set. South Africans, we need to stand up, hold hands with the South African police, push back the frontiers of crime, and yes, we'll win the war.
Our crews will be there tomorrow. And again, when the stats come out next year, we'll be looking at whether this initiative will indeed have delivered the goods. National Police Commissioner General Akehla Sithole, as well as Kevin Pillay, who is the chairperson of the Community Police Forum.